Hello everyone and welcome back to my allotment. This is plot 1 and as you can see I have a very messy strawberry patch. That's this patch here, this bed here and that long bed over there. And I've really let it go. I've got runners that I haven't cut off and there's a whole lot of mess here which needs to be tidied up pretty soon. There's a lot of work there. Over here you can see I've taken a couple of runners but I seem to have lost the labels for most of them, so that should be interesting to see how they turn out. Over here on this bed I grow marshmallow. These strawberries are lovely, they're tasty, they're big, and I'll be growing them again. The couple, 2, 3, 4 over here didn't do too well last year, so they'll be dug up, and I really have got a lot to clear up. Over in the middle I had, well, there was planted by the previous renter here, a horseradish, enormous horseradish, which I dug up, split, potted up and sold at Wildlife Aid's open day. Unfortunately, despite poisoning it every week, sometimes several days, it's still coming up. So I do advise people, if you're going to grow horseradish, grow it in a pot. And I have a few other types of strawberries, a few everbearers such as Albion and Mara de Bois. Over here I had the Award of Garden Merit, the RHS Award of Garden Merit strawberry called Florence, which is meant to be really good and tasty, but in my garden where I grew them they weren't very tasty, and here they're not tasty either, although they've turned out to be quite big. I hate throwing out plants, but I did dig them up, and it was made worse by my very nice neighbour saying, "Oh, they really look healthy," which increased the guilt no end. But I shall plant the strawberry runners that I've got over here, and there's going to be an awful lot of work here. Well, I'm back on the strawberry patch and I haven't really done much to it other than plant out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Frau Mietzer Schindler little plantlets of strawberries and 2 that I don't know what they are. The rest of it is a mess, and I'm giving myself 2 weeks in which to do this, because there are still some runners here that it's a bit late, but I think I can pot up and save a few. And the rest are mingled in with creeping potentilla, which is the most awful weed. But things are going a bit better on my berry patch. And here is my rather messy berry patch where I have, I'm going to call it a loganberry, not a tayberry. And over there I have 2 boysenberries. So 2 boysenberries on that side, 1 loganberry on this side, and at the far end I will be planting the 3rd boysenberry. What I need to do is to choose about 8 good strong stems, and you can see that they're starting to sprout. And I should have done this a long time ago, but this is one of the last tasks I have to do, one of my winter jobs. Weed all this, and the most important thing to do, which I'll probably get round to last of all, is to put some nice straining wires from here across to there, about 4 or 5 of them, and use those turnbuckles to strain them and tie these across there. And I've been avoiding that because I don't think I'm very good at DIY. I'm back on the berry patch, and that's the loganberry all tied up to canes. I haven't got those wires yet, and they've been weeded. And over on that side into the sun, so I can't see very well, are the boysenberries, again all tied up. There are 2 plants there, and that should do for now, and it's all weeded. At the back there, in between these stones, I had put some little plants, but they were totally overrun by weeds, and so they've died off. So I've moved one of these up to make space for what was meant to be a boysenberry. I've called it boysenberry, but it doesn't actually look like one, but it should be interesting to see how that turns out. And close to the roots I've put, well, you can't quite see here, I've put root grow to help the mycorrhizal fungi, to help these settle down, these roots settle down. And if you notice, this is the bags that Aldi, the biodegradable bags that Aldi have, and it's been in my compost bin for just a short while, so it's not doing too bad. It doesn't break down to microplastic, it just breaks down in some way or the other. And over here is my little wild garden, and as you can see it's quite a mess. I mentioned that in my last video. I'm going to redo this, and I've got quite a few plants that I'm going to put in and move a few things around. Over here you can just see the crown of the rhubarb champagne that's coming out. The idea of that was so that the leaves would overshadow the pond and make a nice lot of shade and sort of something quite inviting for the frogs, but it's a bit pointless because I keep taking the leaves off to eat. So what I'm going to do is to use this rhubarb over here, which is the most sour rhubarb. It was here on the allotment when I came, and I have given some to someone else who's totally crazy about rhubarb, and he tried it. He said, well, lots and lots of sugar, and it was still too sour. No one knows what it is, so that will be coming out. And I hate throwing plants out, but part of that will go over here, and hopefully it will shade that pond part. And as you can see here, why I really want a high raised bed, because this is just water flooded. Well, I've cleaned up the wildflower patch, and over here I have transplanted my champagne rhubarb out, and you can just see the tip of the very sour rhubarb, so I'm hoping it's going to grow, and we'll see how that goes. Over here I have the oxeye daisy and another one over there. I split the clump from home. They're not invasive, but they do clump very easily, so you can increase your plants quite easily and give them away to friends if you like. I have a bit of the poached egg plant there, and I'll be planting some more there. A bit of Phacelia there, which is growing very well, unfortunately, in my asparagus bed, but I've been transplanting some around. What I don't want to do this year is to put too many. They looked beautiful last year, but they did take over the plot completely, because I want to sow some other wildflowers in here as well. Over here the fern is looking pretty awful, but the ones in my garden at this time of the year are also looking awful, but that will grow soon. All these old fronds will be cut off, and there'll be some beautiful green fronds there. And I've added a few more bits of wood, because that encourages the ground beetles, and they tend to eat things that eat our vegetables, and so that's important. And I've also added a few curved tiles for places that frogs and toads might want to sleep in. And over here I have replanted the chives, which I just like because they're so pretty. I never use the leaves. And here is the oregano, which is loved by butterflies and bees. I'll be leaving the cleaning of this little pond till the spring. The water will be turned on in April. They turn it off so that the pipes don't freeze up and burst, which will cost a fortune for the council. And I know it's best to have rainwater, but I also know that when the water stands for about 24 hours, then most of the chlorine evaporates, so that's something. I'll also be buying a little oxygenating plant to put in there, a small one, and see what else I can do to improve this little area over time. Well, it's a strange time on the allotment. It's a sort of hiatus between the winter jobs that have been done and that still need to be done, and the sowing of seeds for the new season. If you've got a greenhouse or a conservatory, then you're probably well on your way. But there are still one or two plants on my allotment, and a little bit of harvesting to be done. It's not very sexy doing some of these winter jobs, but you know, they really have to be done, and it's good preparation for the coming season. I'm on plot 2, and these are the overwintering onions called Radar, and I've just put a light dressing of compost from my compost bins on them, and it looks like a beautiful sunny day, but don't get taken in by that, because we had the most awful storms last night, 80 miles per hour gales, and I couldn't sleep last night, and 1 inch of rain fell, and we've had 2 days of storms now, and I think after this another one is on its way. So I'm taking my opportunity to quickly come in and have a quick look at the allotment. I've recovered the onion with the netting because I feel it needs a little bit more protection, more from wildlife than from anything else, and that will come off in a month or so. And if I go over to this side, there's some very nice Swiss chard. Sorry about the shadow. Some really nice Swiss chard. Some of the outer leaves are a bit spotty, but there are some good leaves there, and I think I can get a couple of servings from there. I'm going back again to where the onions are. I'm not going to show you the cabbages, but just the Asturias tree cabbage, because this one seems to be looking really well. It's beautiful lime green colour, and I'll be taking some leaves from that too. Well, here's the blueberry patch again, and I've cut down all the brambles, not just inside the patch, but outside the patch, because as you know, brambles wonderfully curl round and let their branches go to the ground, and then they root themselves there. So it's important that I get rid of all of them. These bricks around, these breeze blocks, are just to denote the shape of where the patch is going to be. And they're not going to sit proud there, they're going to be about 1 inch under the ground. I shall level out the ground and then put them about 1 inch below, and then from there I will build up a short wall of about, I don't know, 15 inches or so, so that I can have the ericaceous compost in here, which the blueberries like. Those pale breeze blocks cost about £1.45, 47 from B&Q. The harder ones, the dark grey ones, cost just twopence more, and I know they're heavier because I dropped one on my foot and got a very bruised foot. Some of these I've got from skips. Those are the 5 blueberries I have, and some I think I've had for 12 years in the pots. They've done okay, but I think they'll feel better in the ground. There's going to be 1 there, 2 there on the wider part, and then 2 there on the widest part over there. Well, that's the end of today's video. Please subscribe and comment. It's most appreciated, and thank you all for watching. I'll speak to you soon.